Good morning. Good morning. You caught me trying to grab a sip of my coffee. Man, the pollen is crazy right now, and I can feel it. So excuse me if I feel like I'm going to cough, I will mute so that you don't have to hear it. Right. Uh, so as you arrive, make sure you say hello and let me know that you're here. And hold on a second. I'm going to pop into where I need to be. Hold on a second. I love it when I get all these little things, these memories from things that I posted years ago, and it's funny as I see them sometimes popping in there. All right, hold on. As I see them sometimes popping in there. Yeah, you hear me? I'm talking down here too. Hold on. All right, all right. So it's a beautiful Sunday morning, and I'm so grateful to be here in front of you and be able to share my thoughts. And oh, that reminds me, doggone it. Oh, no, I got it here. I was thinking, what did I do with the affirmation and journal prompt? I've already got it off my card and put it in the comments there to share with you guys. And so before I share this affirmation, I want to explain what was going through my mind that created this affirmation and journal prompt. And so I don't know if you've ever been a person that does this. I had the idea before I ever moved to this house that I'm in, which I've been here 2.5 years now. But I had sold my house and I had moved into a rental property until I could decide whether I was going to buy, where I was going to buy. And I was at this farmer's market and they were selling fig trees. Now they were small, right? And I thought, oh, I would love to have a fig tree. I love fresh figs, right? So I bought this fig tree and I thought, well, I need to put it in a pot so it can grow, but I can move it from place to place because I don't know, will I be in that house for a year, which I was, and then I moved. And I wanted to make sure that I took this fig tree with me. It was important, right? I didn't want to plant it at the place that I knew I was going to be leaving. So I bought this big, they're like whiskey barrel kind of things. And so it's pretty big. And this was a little bitty tree, and I put it in there. And so we lived there for a year and then we moved where we're at. And so I brought the fig tree with me and we actually ended up buying a second one because the first one was beginning to produce a little bit of figs. And so we bought the second one and they sat in the yard. And now the interesting thing is they've kind of gotten stunted on their growth. And I was thinking about it this morning because I went out yesterday and I was looking and they've got some like little green pieces that are coming off of these sticks that are sticking out, but they're definitely not behaving the way they did in the beginning. And I was thinking about that. And the thing is that they're root bound, right? Because they have grown, but where they're at has not. So they are still in this whiskey barrel. Now it's a pretty big one, right? And they are really aching to get out into the ground, yet they're confined to that space. And they will even start, because one of them started, their roots were coming out of this little tiny place in the bottom and beginning to grow into the ground to where you couldn't move it. And because what I like to do is move them around just a little bit to keep them from doing that. And so I was thinking a lot about that this morning. Don't ask me why, but my brain does a lot of crazy things in the morning. And all of a sudden I thought, we do that in our lives. So I don't know if you're a person that does that in your life, but I definitely have been so many times in the past that it's mind-boggling to think of. And so let me grab the affirmation and you'll understand why that is the affirmation once I get it up here. So hold on a second. All right. So today's affirmation is I give myself room to grow. And remember, I said this fig tree is in this huge pot, which was perfect in the very beginning because it was small. And so its roots didn't go out very far and they didn't go that deep. Well, now it wants to go deep and it can't. And, so what's holding it back? What's holding it back is this container that I put it in. And that's what we do to ourselves as we, like I've referred before about our glasses. Our glasses are a reflection of or a lens of our past that we're looking through. And we're doing the same thing with our container in our life. So we are putting ourselves into a container of what we believe is possible, what other people have told us is possible. We're doing that all the time. So the thing is that when you think about it, is the container is might have been begun because people were telling us things, but we have created that container for ourselves to be in by our beliefs and our actions. And so it is a great thing to give yourself room to grow. So make sure you put this on your sticky notes, your index cards, your mirror with a chalk marker. Put it as your screensaver. Put it somewhere so that you can reiterate this throughout the day. I give myself room to grow. And when you think about it, we we're all the time we're changing, right? So we can either change and expand who we are, or we can change by constricting even more. And so the longer that tree stays in that container, that same size container, without the ability to develop its roots and grow, the more it's almost going to give up on life, right? So if we don't get a bigger pot to put it in, or we don't go ahead and put it in the ground where it can just stretch out wherever the hell it wants to go, it's going to die. And that is what happens to people too. And that's like a thing. If you think about, there's a lot of people that they retire and they do nothing, and it's no time and they're gone. And it's because they're not growing anymore. They're not expanding, because if you're not growing and expanding, then you're declining. And we all make that choice. And I'm getting to the age now where that's even more in my face to think, I have the ability to continue to grow if I choose to. And I've always loved learning new things and continuing to grow. And so I really feel like that is just part of me. But in actuality, it is something that I developed over time and has become just the natural part of me. And so the reason I say that is because, remember, I've said many, many times, and I'm sure you've heard it from others, is that a 1% change every day compounded over time creates exponential growth, because we cannot change just like that in an instant. And the thing is if we could, we couldn't sustain it because we didn't learn what we needed to learn. Our roots didn't continue to go deep into the ground to really hold us steady where we are. And, it's like trees fall. And a lot of times it's because if there's a drought and the roots can't get the water deep in the earth, their roots will start coming to the surface to get the water, to get the nutrients. And then think about it. If the sun is blocked because there's too many trees, that tree will morph and do all kinds of weird things to get its head going toward the sun. And so nature actually has it where things change to survive, and things change to get better, to nourish itself. And so give yourself room to grow every single day. And as you do that, then you're going to get to a place where it's like that's just who you are. So if you're not someone right now that that does all this, that loves to learn and wants to change and all that, because let's face it, change can be very hard, but so can sliding back and giving up, right? There are hard things either way. And so as you think about it, make a choice. If it's going to be hard to change either way, they're both going to be a little bit uncomfortable in the growth process. The sliding back process can feel pretty damn miserable too, right? So just think about that. And so you make a choice. If it's going to be uncomfortable, why not make it the uncomfortable thing, the growth process to becoming even more and better and happier and fulfilled in life? You get to choose. All right, so let me grab the journal prompt. All right, hold on a second. Hold on. All right, so you ready? All right, the journal prompt is, and it's a two-parter. I love the two-parters. So, where have you been holding yourself back? So, where have you been almost giving yourself permission to give up? And why, right? Because, like I said, change is uncomfortable. And we can either embrace change or we don't. And when we don't, it's the backslide toward uncomfortable death, right? So just think about it. Now, when you were a little child and you imagined things, you didn't care. You didn't even think about whether that's possible. I remember, this is going to date me really, like you don't know how old I am already. But I remember watching Bewitched. And I loved that show because I loved that she could just magically make things happen, right? And at that time, we had a washing machine, but we didn't have a dryer to dry clothes in when I was little. I don't even know how old I was, but I remember this. And so we would hang things out on the clothesline. And so my job was to go out and hang these clothes. And so what I would do when I would take them out there, I would set the basket underneath the clothesline, and there'd be this thing hanging, this little bag thing, canvas bag thing with all the pins, the little clothespins, right? And I would spend a long time standing out there doing all these things to twinkle my nose and make those things miraculously get up on the clothesline. And it never worked. But I spent a lot of time trying to make that happen. Because in my mind, if she could do it, I could do it. And that's not to say that if I had kept doing it, it would have eventually happened. But I'm saying go back to that belief system, that belief in the impossible, instead of falling into the trap of what other people think are possible, right? And and I was talking about this not too long ago with someone that if you don't know the story of Roger Bannister, and I know this doesn't sound like it relates to this, but it does. But Roger Bannister was a runner, and up until he did this, the scientists and the medical profession would tell you not to run too fast, because if you ran too fast, your heart would explode. They had all these things that were going to happen to you if you did this too fast, right? And Roger Bannister was the first person that ran a 4-minute mile. And nobody believed it was possible. Nobody, not the scientists, not the doctors, the runners, the coaches, nobody believed that that was possible. Nobody could do it, right? Roger Bannister did it. And then the next day, there were people that were breaking the 4-minute mile left and right. Because the thing that had happened was they had removed that limiting belief, because that person did it. Holy shit. He didn't die. His heart didn't explode. He was actually elated. He was tired, but he was happy. And suddenly it was a possibility. So where in your life are you holding yourself back because I haven't seen anybody else do it. You know, I've never been able to do it. Whatever it is that's been holding you back, what is it? What is it that you're saying to yourself that makes it impossible for you? Because Roger Bannister is the story to me that always lets me know that even when something seems totally impossible, it's not, right? And so then, as you look at how you've been holding yourself back, how can you open yourself up to new possibilities? So once you recognize that it's your container that has been holding you back and not letting your roots grow and dig deep and become exactly your destiny, right? As soon as you recognize that your roots are stagnant right now, and all you got to do is either demolish the container or allow the roots to come out wherever they come out, right? And there's a was it Jim Rohn? I can't remember who it was. One of the things that he used to say that I really loved, and I could be wrong. Maybe it's somebody else, but I'm thinking it's Jim Rohn. So if it's somebody else and you know this saying, then definitely put it in the comments and let me know that that it's I'm giving credit to the wrong person. Just go ahead and let me know. The thing is that a lot of times we're looking for the grass is always greener on the other side kind of thing. So we're feeling like we have to go here to make it happen. We have to go there. We have to learn this. We have to do this. And we're looking at all the things that we need to change to make this happen, right? And what he said is grow where you're planted. And so that really speaks to me as far as this fig tree analogy, because it is, if I allow it to, roots will go through the bottom of this container and it will go into the earth, and then you cannot move it. It will not move anymore. It will be firmly planted, right? And the reason it doesn't is because I move it around and I don't allow it to. So think about that. When you're looking at something that you want to do in your life and you keep giving up and going to something else. And I'm not saying that just because you think of something that that's the magical thing for you to be doing, but I'm saying give it an opportunity to take root. Give it an opportunity to become what you want it to become, right? And don't just give up when things are hard. So grow where you're planted. That means to stop right here, right now, and look, what are my gifts and talents? What can I do right now and recognize what I'm grateful for, to be who I am? I mean, just really give yourself some time to write down your journal prompt, put it in your journal, put it in your notebook, make sure you put the date of it. Because like I say, you want to go back and look at these periodically, and you can see how much you've grown. And without that, things become so normal to you, all the changes that you're making, that you don't even recognize your growth. And I really want you to recognize how you're changing, how you're growing. And that doesn't mean you're not growing where you're planted. That means you're allowing those roots to go deep and you to stretch to get the sun, right? And so it's an imperative to live and to grow. So, how can you open yourself up to the new possibilities? How can you allow those roots to go deep and let you reach to the sun and put that smile on your face and get energized and loving life? And because if that's not you right now, oh, I'm telling you, there's a thing about being able to appreciate where you are as you're aspiring to be something else. Because then, oh, it's such a delicious thing to be able to enjoy who you are right this moment and continue to let the roots grow deep and let you reach toward the sun, right? All right. So you can tell this was really a passionate thing for me this morning, and I don't know why. I guess it was that I was outside looking at that fig tree yesterday. I don't know, but I hope this has been helpful for you because, like I said, I love to create these journal prompts and affirmations for something that's going on in me, and then I hope that's beneficial to you. And so anybody that's watching this that's not part of the Make Lasting Change group, because I'm streaming it out into other areas, is the Make Lasting Change group is a group on Facebook that is ah so many amazing people that enjoy this growth, this learning process. And they are so like minded. They help each other. I mean, it is an amazing community to be part of. And I love it. I love it. So I feed into it as much as I possibly can. And I love that others in the group feed into it as well. And so, as I'm explaining this, I want you to be aware that Monday is when we, as the Make Lasting Change group, we come together, and this I don't share out at all, and we celebrate each other and we talk about things even a little more different, a little more different. I don't know if that's even proper English, and I really don't care. So, just think about if you would enjoy being in a group of people that almost want to hold your hand and be there with you as you're growing and becoming whoever you want to be. They will encourage you and call you out sometimes. Somebody this morning was calling out some people that hadn't been posting their hashtag peachy vibes, which is our daily self-care item. And we're going to talk a little bit about that tomorrow and what self-care means. And Stacy Lauren, the one of my mentors, that I'm in her accelerator group, and I've been part of her Do the Thing formula. She's the catalyst that helped me create my podcast, and now I'm at 76 or 77 episodes now. And so it has been amazing to know her. And she had something that she was talking to me about yesterday about her self-care. And so we're going to get on tomorrow and we're going to talk about what self-care is and how we're looking at things and what we're going to have happen in the group. And we're going to let everybody that's part of the group come in and make those decisions with us. And so I'm super excited to have her here tomorrow. And so, like I said, if you want to be part of the Make Lasting Change, Make Lasting Change group, you have to ask to be a member because it is a private group. And we do it that way because we want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to be vulnerable when they want to, and it's not just blasted out to everybody. And nobody can share your comments, your pictures, or anything outside of the group. And so it's a safe space, right? Go to vickypoole.com. That's VICKIEPOOLE.com. And you'll be prompted to answer questions. And when you answer those questions, then you get admitted into the group. I do it very quickly. The thing is that anyone who doesn't answer the questions, I will reach out to them and say, hey, you've got to answer these questions to be admitted in the group. Because let's face it, sometimes you get distracted or you hit the wrong button and then you don't get the questions answered, right? And so I don't want to just discredit someone who's something happened. And so when I do that, when I reach out to the people, some people go back in and answer those questions and bam, they're admitted in the group. And there's others who don't. And those people are deleted. I give them a couple of 3 days. And if they don't answer it, then I just delete them out of the feed. Because to me, if you can't answer the questions to get into the group, then you're not going to be a productive, supportive person in the group. And that could be wrong for some people. Maybe some people still would. But that is a hard, fast rule that I feel is very important because I've learned so much in my coaching and my hypnosis over time that it helps me to see there's a level of desire there. And if that level of desire is not there to be part of the group, then you're not going to be a good fit. So I'm just telling you that now so that if you know you're not going to answer the questions, don't even waste your time trying to get to be part of the group. And all right. And so one of the other things I wanted to mention is that on Wednesday, at 8 p.m., Krista is going to be um, a guest expert in the group. And she's actually an energy expert and she is about your environment and you. And the thing that is amazing about her, because I had her on my podcast. So anybody that wants the link to that podcast episode, because I just got it published yesterday or the day before, I don't recall. And so it's pretty new out there. But if you would like to hear the episode with her, let me know in the comments. Just put I want it in the comments, and I will make sure that you get that. And she has this ability to look at your energy, and she doesn't even have to look at your space. I thought she would have to have you walking around with a camera to show your space, right? But she said no. She can feed and intuitively know the energy of your space and the energy of your body, and she can tell you what's holding you back and how to eliminate that obstacle, that block that you have. And she has graciously is gifting one person in the Make Lasting Change group that's there live. She's going to actually give them a free session, and we're all going to get to watch. And if you want to be one of the people in the running to be to get this special thing, and I can't remember what the price was, that I can't remember. I think it's like 150, or I might be wrong, so don't hold me to that. But that's what the normal price would be for a session. And she's gifting that to someone in this group. So if you're not part of the group and you want to participate in that, definitely get into the group. Now, it is going to be shared out so you can watch, but you cannot be one of the ones in the running for the actual coaching session. But it's going to be so powerful. And I want you all to be there, because one of the things that had me bring her on as an expert is because I have so many times recognized, and I've talked to my clients about this, that when you have an environment that's cluttered, and it doesn't mean you're like a hoarder kind of thing. It just means that you've got too many papers sitting around, or you have a place that things just seem to collect, or maybe, I don't know, I can't explain it, but I would feel that inside me. And I had clients before that I would, as I'm talking to them, I would ask them, what is your space look like? And they would kind of share some stuff with me. And I'd say, well, that's why you're having such a hard time, is because your space is actually an indicator of what's going on inside. So when you're kind of, I don't know what to do, I'm lost, I'm trying to figure this out, too much is happening. When all those things are going on within you, it's going to be reflected outside of you. And so the thing that is really important is to be able to know that, understand that, and take care of it, right? And so when I had this podcast episode with her, I had followed and studied feng shui before. And so it's like feng shui on steroids. It's a lot different than just feng shui and put your headboard to the north kind of thing, right? It's a lot bigger than that. And when I scheduled her, then she said, here, let me give you one of my free items. So I went, and she has an ebook. And in that ebook, it was telling me a few different things that I could do to free up my energy in my home and in me, right? And so she'll be gifting that to all of you guys too. The thing that was really interesting is a lot of those I know because I've studied feng shui, right? Did I always do them? No. And so it was a great reminder for me of some things that maybe I had been letting go. And so after I read her ebook, I went and I cleaned the mirrors. I cleaned the toilets. I made sure I had one sink that it seemed like every time I brushed my teeth, the water would stand a little bit. and I would get it unclogged and all that stuff, and then not too long later it would do the same thing. And so I went and got some special stuff to put down that drain to remove that clog completely, right? And so, like I said, there's just different things that, by talking to her and by doing reading her ebook, that I was reminded that to do. And just think how amazing it will be to actually have a session with her right there in front of everybody. And remember, it's a safe space where nobody's going to condemn you, but oh my gosh, is it going to be powerful to see how to actively reduce the stagnant energy in your body and in your life and in your home. So I know that's a long explanation, but I want to make sure that you're going to get there. And before I forget, I just remembered one of the things that I wanted to tell you about tomorrow's live with Stacy is I'm going to be sharing in the group the Zoom link. So not only will you be able to be there and post in the comments, but you get to come on screen and share that whole space. So it's almost like a Monday workshop, right? And so it's going to be very powerful. And remember, the time changed to 2 p.m. Eastern, and it's going to be 2 p.m. Eastern from here on out. And well, who knows how long it'll last. We'll see if it becomes where we need to change the time again. We're flexible and we can change, right? And that's one of the things I talk about is being able to change. So we changed the time to 2 p.m. and I'm going to be sharing in just a little bit, I'm going to be sharing the link so that everybody in the Make Lasting Change group can actually get onto the live if they choose to and be part of it, because the energy and everything is so cool when people get there. And as they come in, it's like, hey, I'm so glad you're here. So I encourage you, because this Monday is going to be very special with some of the things that we're doing. And we want you to be there live and in person to experience it in a totally different way. All right, so I have been on here long enough. I shared the affirmation and the journal prompt. So remember your affirmation, put it on your sticky notes, your index cards, your mirror with a chalk marker, your screensaver, wherever you can share it, right? And so the affirmation was, I give myself room to grow. And if you're watching the replay, make sure you put hashtag replay. And I would love to know, how have you been holding yourself back? Are you ready to make room to grow? And remember, if you want to, well, what the hell was it? I've already forgotten. I might have to go back and watch this because I don't even remember what the hell I said. All right. So anyway, your journal prompt for today is, where have you been holding yourself back? How can you open yourself up to new possibilities? And it's just going to be, oh, I know what it was. If you want to have ahead of time of Krista being here on Wednesday, if you want to watch or listen to the podcast recording with her, then hi, Lynn. Thank you. You have a blessed day too. I appreciate you, Lynn. But if you want to have a copy of that episode with that I just published out of Krista, so you know a little bit about her and what she does, then definitely put in the comments that I want it, or give me the podcast, whatever you want to say. But when I go back in and I look and I see that, I will send you the link so that you can watch it ahead of time and see what she's all about, because it's definitely amazing. There's a reason that I really wanted her to share with you guys. So, and then remember the journal prompt, put it in your journal, your notebook, and make sure you put the date on it. So, okay, cool, Lynn. When I get off here, I will be sending you the link. Just really quick, I have it on my YouTube channel. I have it on Spotify and iTunes and Callcast. So do you have a preference on where you want to listen or watch? Because on Spotify and YouTube, there's a video as well. So let me know in the comments if you don't mind, and I will get that over exactly however you want it. And so anybody that's watching and you want to have that recording ahead of time, let me know and tell me which platform you would like to have it. If not, I'll probably end up doing just Spotify or YouTube. And then do me a solid, and I say this in the podcast, but actually leave a comment, which is amazing because it's actually supporting her more. And I love that she was doing this for me and for her and for you. And also to like and subscribe the channel wherever it is that you watch this from. Make sure, because that's the only way that it gets out into the feed a lot more, because my whole purpose of my podcast is not only to give me a voice, but to give others a voice that have a story to tell. And I want them to be able to get their story out in a greater way. All right. So was there anything else I wanted to say? Oh, yes. Make sure that you're there tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. And if I'm going to be sharing out, and I don't know if you got here in time to hear this or not, Lynn, but Stacy and I are going to be together on the live tomorrow, and I'm sharing the Zoom link so you can actually come in and be on the Zoom call with us, because we got some important, exciting things to talk about. All right, so we're going to be sharing some of our secret sauce. I love that thought, sharing a secret sauce. All right, so you have a very blessed day, and I will see you tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. Mwah.